This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. We continue Mishna Berura Yomi. We're up to Siman Tav Kuf Pei Vav Sif Yud Aleph Hoisif Alav Koshehu. If you add it even a little bit, Bein B'minoi, Bein Shaloi B'minoi Pasal, whether in its species or not its species, it's Pasal Fil Hoy B'B'Chil Shiur Shofar, even if originally had the Shiur Shofar, says Mishna Berura Koshehu, Hanish Arichai, you made a longer Bein Mitzad HaKtzar, whether the shorter side Bein Mitzad HaRachav, or the wider opening Pasal. Either side of the shofar is possible. Mishum the shofar echad amrachmana chumay b'sif yud. Torah says one shofar, not two. Yud beis hafacha v'tachaba lo yotz. If you blew it upside down, you're not yotz. Bein hafacha gedar shofar mechalok shechser pnimi lechitzain. Whether you turn it upside down in a way that you turn a shirt, that you turn the inside to the outside, bein shinicha k'may shahaya, or if you left it as it was, you just widen the short and you shorten the wide part. Or if you blew in the wide angle, it's possible. It says Mishna Berura, so you should blow a shofar trua. It has to be the way it passes through. The way it grows on the ram while it's alive. Through heat. Also, the reason here is, it should be the way it grows. The short side should be by the person's mouth. In the wide part. Even in a shofar that was made properly. It's all for the reason mentioned above. If it was long and you shortened it. If it was long and you shortened it, if you're left with the shiur of Tekiah, it's kosher. Says the Mishna Berura, in other words, if it was long and you shortened it, if it still makes the shiur, it's kosher. Says Mishna Berura, it doesn't matter which side you shorten, even if it changed the sound. Don't say don't say, well, it has to be the way it grew on the ram. It's kosher, even if it was disqualified originally, and you shorten it to be machshir. Okay, Sif Yudalid. If you scraped it from within or on the outside until it became very thin, like frost, it's kosher, says the Mishna Berura, even if the sound changed, since it's not coming from an external source. This is the width of the shofar now. And all sounds are kosher. If you did not take out the zachrus, but rather you made a hole in it, we'll see what that means, it's kosher. But if you remove the zachrus, also in a shofar, kugan shenikev boy pasal. Says the Mishna Berura, loy hoitzi zachrusay. D'chshu mechuber b'behema, when it's attached to the animal, etzem boilet min harash, a bone protrudes from the head, and enters the shofar. When you make a shofar, you remove the bone. This person did not remove the bone. He just made a hole in it from beginning to end. Then kosher. He can even do this. It's one min with another. It's not choitzes. It's all the shofar material. This is not considered two shofars. It was attached from the beginning. Do pasal in Nechanami. If you took it out, you made a hole and you put it back, it's pasal. The shofar umilashon shvayferes. The reason why in the second case that you remove the zachrus and you made a shofar out of it, like you made a hole in it, that's pasal. Because the lashon is from a tube. Anything which is not naturally hollow, the bone is not naturally hollow, mikri shofar. If you covered it with gold, where you put your mouth, it's possible. Says the Mishna Berura, until the words yesh mefarshim is the language of the brisa. Says the Mechaber, now where the mouth is kosher. If you cover with gold from the inside, it's possible. If you cover with gold on the outside, if it changes the sound, it's possible. Kosher. Says Machaber Yesh Mefarshim Makom Hanachas Hapeh. Some explain what does it mean where you put your mouth. Hainu Oivi HaShofar Tzad Pnimi, the thickness of the shofar on the inner side. Shemaniach Sham Piv. V'Hatzad Achitzayd Min HaOivi Atzmai Karei Shalavi Makom Hanachas Peh. And the outer side from the thickness is called not where your mouth is. Some say the thickness on the short side is where it's called makam anachas peh. B'shalavi makam anachas peh. Shalavi makam anachas peh is hainu kol orech hashofar. That's the whole length of the shofar. Mitzad hakatzar atzad haracha, from the short side, the narrow side, until the wider side. It says in Mishna Berura hainu oivi hashofar. So the oivi hashofar lamala yishnei chuden. The thickness of the shofar above, there are two threads. There are two sharp parts. Echad shenoito tzad chala shofar, one that is inclined toward the hollow of the shofar, echad shenoito tzad chutz, and one that's inclined toward the outside. L'peirush harisha, and according to the first pshat, mikri makam anachas hapeh hainu shetzivol tzad pnim. The anachas hapeh is the inner side of psul mishum shehevel hakol nechnas lazav. The reason why it's possible is because the hot air of the voice that you're putting into the shofar is going into the gold. V'shalovi makam anachas hapeh. Not where the mouth is. Hainu hatzad hachoid hanoito tzad chutz saviv. That's the side that's around it on the outside. Machmas oisam adina komashtan v'kasha. Whatever gold you put there, it's not going to change the sound. Avakol oirach hashofar mitzad chutz ubechal tzipozov mi bachutz hamuska bebraisa. But the length of the shofar from the outside, that's called tzipozov mi bachutz. According to the second shad, the side above, that you put in your mouth, that's all called where the place of the mouth is. And not the place where the mouth is. That's a little bit next to that place on the outside. They hold that little bit, the sound won't change, even though it's on the wall on the outside. That's why the Brisa sois him that's kosher, and from that place below, ad soif until the tali b'mishtana akol, and it will depend if the sound changes. If you cover with gold on the inside, in all situations, because you're blowing in gold. So now, Shaloi b'makam hanochas peh in the second shad, hainu kol oirach hashofar. Mechaber kitzer b'zeh. Mechaber was short here. The Moshani mashma, from his language, it implies chol ha'oirech chada dina islay, that the whole length has one din. The kasher, and it's kasher tzipozov if you covered with gold. But the truth is this is not so. The rak mashu arishon hasamach la'ovi shemachlas tachpiv kasher. Only the little mashu that's next to the thickness that you put into your mouth is kosher. Because it probably will not change the sound because of that little mashu. But from there and below, that's going to depend if it changes the sound. If you picture different images of colorful images on the shofar to make it beautiful, that's not proper. It says so you're allowed to engrave on the shofar itself pictures to make it beautiful. It says in Mishna Berura, because sometimes it does change the sound a little bit. If you engrave it, it doesnn't matter, because that's the shofar. You're engraving in the shofar itself. Like this, the sif yadad, scraping it from the inside or the outside. Okay, sif yud ches, if you put gold on the thickness of the shofar by the wide side, that's considered adding a little bit. Upasal, it's possible. Says in Mishna Berura, that's possible in all circumstances, even if the sound doesn't change. Sifya test, hirchikas ha-shofar. If you distance the shofar from you, v'nafach ba and you blew into it, v'taka ba and you blew, pasal, it's pasal. Says Mishna Berura, why? Sivkatan ayin hey, to be inan shei piv medubak la shofar. You need your mouth to cling to the shofar. V'simanai, the siman is el chikcha shofar. The shofar is by the palate. V'taka ba pasal. V'yachsar v'yiska shenis kadin. You should go back and blow a second time properly, ubali bracha, without a bracha. Okay, Marv Rabbi say, the reason why you blow without a bracha, Shar Tzion, says because this din is not definitive. We'll hold it over here, Bez Hashem, pick it up tomorrow in Sif Chaf. Wishing everyone an amazing day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.